But now let us turn to the speeches of this evening. And it's my great pleasure to introduce to you Marcus Rapacioli, who is the school captain. I've gleaned from this evening of the pleasure of seeing right next to him that he's doing his A-levels in French, Russian and economics. Unfortunately for him, he was sitting within arm's reach of John Wigley, who quizzed him promptly, before the starter even arrived, and uncovered the fact that he does not know about the Washington model. And this turns out to be a bad thing. Who knew? He also suffered under the cosh a bit because he was emailed by his economics tutor and told to do at least 3 hours a day study of economics. Now, I would not wish that upon my worst enemy, personally. But for those of us who are taking A-levels in it, maybe it's the done thing, I don't know. His hopes, and I'm sure they will be realised, are to go up to Durham for Russian and Italian, plus his key interest is of drama. And he also has subsidiary interests in hockey and athletics. I have no doubt, given the evidence upon my left-hand side over the last few hours, that we're in for a great speech tonight. Would you please welcome our school captain, Marcus Rapacioli.
Mr. President, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great privilege to be here this evening, surrounded by such welcoming company, excellent food, and maybe a few too many glasses of wine. I'm currently in my last week and a half of study leave, supposedly feverishly preparing for those upcoming A-level exams. Instead of that, I've watched every episode of Game of Thrones, solved the Rubik's Cube, and learned the alphabet in Korean. As a year group, we finished formal school 2 weeks ago. Our last commitments on the horizon are those menacing exams and the even more menacing prospect of a leavers ball with the girls' school. This evening, I thought I'd briefly speak about the things that I'll miss in the years to come, and presumably what you already miss about your time in those green and pleasant lands of Elstree. Of course, the academic side of school is very important, and the current upper sixth have broken all the records. Best ever GCSE results, best ever AS level results, and predicted to achieve the best ever results at A2. Whilst I suppose that makes my year more clever than all the other old boys in the room, I won't dwell on that fact for too long. I'm sure you don't miss that charming Habs boy arrogance. But the success of all Habs boys is undoubtedly down to the unique relationship we have and continue to have with the staff. They are supportive, dynamic, and have awful dress sense, but nevertheless it is a real wish for every boy of the school to stay in touch with his teachers in the future, and perhaps teach them a thing or two. Fluorescent orange chinos do not go with a bright green jacket, for example. What goes on outside the classroom is to many more even more important. Without wanting to sound like a politically motivated open day speech, the school does continue to offer the most amazing opportunities for boys to get involved. As ever, the senior play this year, Guys and Dolls, was excellent, and the lead actor, incredibly good looking. It was an entirely joint venture with the girls' school, which meant that this year's girls' school senior play was the best one they've ever had. We continue to challenge the best schools in the area on the sports field, the senior rugby squad taking part in a very successful Biarritz tour, beating our most historic rivals, no, not Queen Elizabeth boys, although we did beat them too on the last day of the season, but the French. Even more successful is the current first team cricket, so far going this season nearly unbeaten, including a victory over the MCC, probably because I was dropped back in year 7 from the D team. Of course, this year has also seen the building of the new sports centre. We should be finished for the start of school in September, so pretty much just in time for me to leave. I've looked around inside and it really is remarkable, featuring squash courts, a sports cafe, and a brand new swimming pool without the trademark green mould on the bottom. The Habs Model United Nations Conference was also a real highlight. It attracted over 450 delegates from across the world. Students were able to practice their skills of diplomacy, debate, and their best Nigel Farage impressions. Despite coming last, a delegation from Merchant Taylor's School claimed that they had won the conference. The country they were representing, North Korea. It seems that there is an unbreakable bond between those who have attended the same school and hold the same values of custom of its community, a bond which ignores differences in age. As a Joblings boy, through and through, I unfortunately have seen my fair share of losing. How Meadows continues to do so well year after what should be a random selection process, I don't know. But win or lose, what we share with our respective year groups is something more, and something that we'll never quite experience in the same way. We watched each other grow up. From the first homework of Year 7 to the last dance of the Leavers' Ball, we've all been permanent spectators in each other's lives. The friends that I have made are indeed what I'll miss the most when I leave the school. However, having spoken to you this evening, I'm glad to hear that you don't miss your friends, because they are still in your lives. I can only hope that my year group and the years that follow honourably pick up the same mantle of being an OH with pride and join the ranks of a new squad with whom we share the same special bond. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding and raise your glasses to toast. The worshipful company of Haberdashers, the school governors and the school. Thank you.
And so, for our second Olympic Colin tonight, as we come to the presidential reply from Colin Blessley. As Finance and Commercial Director of London 2012 Ceremonies Limited, a subsidiary of LOCOG, which delivered the opening and closing ceremonies for both the Olympic and Paralympic Games, he was crucial to delivering those stunning ceremonies which must surely have the equivalent bodies right now in Rio de Janeiro wondering what the hell they can do in 2016. He continues to work tirelessly, professionally, and is totally dedicated to the Old Haberdashers Association. As the third Blessley to have served the association as president, Colin truly has the OHA in his blood, as well as half a bottle of wine this evening. We are very lucky to have had him as our president for 3 signally successful years. Unflappable, sagacious, generous, and occasionally bearded, but better yet, he is our president, Colin Blessley.
Thank you. Lord Moynihan, honored guests, ladies, gentlemen. Before I begin, I'd like to recognise one important absence and also some truly inspiring attendances. Regrettably, this week being the half-term week at school, Peter Hamilton, the headmaster, cannot be with us due to prior commitments. However, he is ably represented by Roger Llewellyn, on my left here, of whom more later. On the other side of the balance sheet, we've got 11 attendees from the rugby club this evening. Dan Schaefer has rallied a group of 9 82 leavers and a couple of 83s as well. And we have another group of 9 75 leavers. I think we'd all like to see more of the same next year. So it's down to you, gentlemen, to coordinate your decades and get some more people from your groups. It's an honour and pleasure to be addressing you tonight again. I hope sincerely that next year you'll have a more youthful and more inspiring president to inform you of the continued progress of the association towards achieving our goals. When I took over this presidency, shall I say when I was strong-armed to take over the presidency almost 3 years ago, I set out a number of priorities for the association with my colleagues on the executive committee. First of all, stabilise our financial position after the termination of the life membership scheme for school leavers. broaden our appeal to existing and, more importantly, future members, revitalise our relationship with the school, and Roger, I'll be coming back to that in a minute, and present a more coordinated events programme between us. Continue to support the burgeoning and improving fortunes of our sporting organisations, particularly rugby and cricket. I'm not demeaning anybody else, but both of those traditional mainstays, and by no means least and not last, drive the relocation project to new modern facilities to enable us to update and improve the experience for our members. More about that later. I'd like to express thanks here for all your efforts over the last 2.5, 3 years to the members of the Executive Committee, the presidents of our sporting associations, and other selfless volunteers, of whom we have many, and we're making progress on all fronts on which you're working. On certain areas, maybe not as much as I wish at the present time. Without meaning to belittle the achievements of other aspects of our sporting endeavours, it is most gratifying, I think, to all of us to see that the first 15 rugby team has picked itself up from a somewhat indifferent start to last season, and under inspired leadership has again, against significant opponents with deeper resources than ourselves, ended up winning 4th place in London NW1 Level 7, the highest placed old boys side in London, ahead of old rivals such as Merchant Taylors, Mill Hillians and Paulines. The second 15 has also done brilliantly, finishing 3rd in the League One of the Hertfordshire and Middlesex merit table. Congratulations. We are now fielding 2 cricket 11s quite frequently, and the first 11 captain, Khurram Mansour, has done a great job to revitalise our teams and attracting quality players, including school leavers, for which I'm extremely grateful. It's a wonderful reflection on the next generation of cricketers, and for those of you with your diaries open, please take note that the school first 11 is playing against Merchant Taylors at Lords on the 24th of June at 3 p.m. Entry is free, which I'm sure is very close to your hearts, and the school are organising a joint hospitality event for the Hags community. So if you have the ability to go there, please join in. I'm sure it'll be a great occasion. In soccer, under the inspired leadership of Owen, basically a team with no fixed abode, they continue to live to fight another day, which is no mean achievement in view of the limited resources that they have available. So, to the rugby players, the cricketers, the footballers, the golfers and the shooters, well done all, and many thanks for keeping the flag flying. Financially, and many thanks to John Whitley here, our financial position is now stable, but I do say that we need to identify and exploit more ways in which we can generate profitable revenue to build on the sterling efforts of the Social Committee, who've done so much to keep the organisation running on the social front. Thank you, Rodney, and your team. In order to respond to the broader requirements of our potential membership, we're now organising more events in central London, which I think is more in tune with the younger generation, who probably find it more effective to go on from work afterwards to something in the city, where they find those convenient locations, particularly the Bishop's Finger just around the corner, where I'm sure a number of you will adjourn to after this session. I'm really delighted that the senior representative of the school tonight is Roger Schwelling. Roger himself is a former student of the school, a true old Haberdasher. Roger, thank you for interrupting your half-term break to be with us this evening. It is very much appreciated. Roger is the director of the foundation, the Hags Foundation, and also responsible for external relations. And one of his responsibilities is to act as liaison with the Old Haberdashers Association. We look forward to building on our collective efforts, and please be reassured, Roger, that this association will continue to reach out to the school to further our collaborative efforts. I'm very grateful that Harold and Dorothy are here tonight, so this is a special mention for Harold and his team. Many of you may be asking yourselves what's happening on the current state of play regarding our relocation project. Thanks to the unstinting efforts of Harold, and I've lost count of how many years you've been doing this, Harold, but it has to be almost 20 or more, and his highly professional and motivated volunteer team, I think we're now on the road towards, hopefully, achieving our strategic goals closer than ever before. Now, you have to understand that in terms of planning and local council relationships, it can be a bit of a roller coaster ride, but I hope sincerely that we're closer towards achieving our goals, i.e. the presentation of planning application for both the Croxdale Road site for urban redevelopment and also our new location for the sports field and clubhouse facilities. Harold, thank you to you and your team. You've been doing a great job, and hopefully you'll see a speedy conclusion to your efforts. I think many of you have noticed over the years that the quality of our annual publication, OH Notes, has improved significantly. We've been producing top drawer magazines for a number of years now, and that's in no small part due to the efforts of Alan Newman as the editor, unfortunately not here tonight, and others such as John Wigley and Keith Cheney, who have provided some amazing content. I can assure you that the next edition will not defraud. It is focused on the Great War, and there'll be some amazing contributions and tremendous content there. Before I conclude, I'd like to make 2 awards in recognition of outstanding contributions to our organisation. Ian McCarthy has been Rugby Club President since 2012. Ian himself is not an OH, but he's probably been one of the most constant supporters of all aspects of the club's activities for a long time. Ian was recruited by Chris Robinson, I believe, in a changing room. That's probably politically incorrect these days. In October 1979, we were a lot more permissive back then, and since then has played an amazing total of 282 times for the first 15. He scored 40 tries and captained the side in the 89-1990 season. Ian, many thanks for all you have done to raise our game. And please, could you come up, please, and accept these small tokens of gratitude from the association. To maintain the tone, is to old Haberdashers Rugby, Mr. Simon Wallace. Simon was second 15 captain and is now club captain. Like his president, that I mean Ian, not me, he puts in all hours under the sun to organising rugby club matters. He's agreed to join the OHA Executive Committee, I'm sure in his innocence, as one of the rugby club representatives, and will also assume the running of the Croxdale Road Bar, together with our resident stewards. Together with our resident stewards, Mel and Pauline. Simon, I do expect to see a massive increase in takings of the obviously, when I say takings, I mean profitability as well, being an accountant by training. Simon, I would like to also ask you to come up and accept these memorabilia as a sign of our gratitude towards everything you've done. We're almost there. To conclude, I'd like to make 2 very special votes of thanks. To Andrew Tarpey, our heartfelt thanks again for organising this wonderful event. And know your bosses at Jaguar Land Rover don't give you much free time, but thank you for taking up a lot of it to organise this. Thanks for a brilliant evening. And finally, someone who's not here tonight, but who, in my heart of hearts, I feel is owed an enormous debt of gratitude. His unstinting efforts as an OH stalwart are amazing. This association and its affiliated clubs would not be the same without all the work that Martin Baker manages to carry out. The website, OH News, Rugby Club Matters, Bar Accounts, take note, Simon. Relocation Subcommittee, the list is endless. Martin, you are the genuine beating heart of this organisation. Thank you for all your sterling work. We're sorry you're not here tonight. I've gone on for far too long. It's down to you to enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you and have a great time.